Welcome once again to my channel. In a couple of days in a terminal, I've been making videos on ICT, and I think my last video was on networking. Until we looked at the various network devices that one needs in a network setup. I said, if you're a network engineer, you should be familiar with these tools. And they are physical devices. At the end of the day, when you connect some physical devices here, I also configure them to be able to work in the network. Inti ene, maybe try how you configure the devices on the computer. Inti you a switch, a router, then network cables are their connections. Then we also look at how we can, do wireless network. Now we use a network simulation tool. I friend a packet tracer. Packet tracer near a Cisco for network tool, network simulation tool. While watching Cisco down, you should know of it because I know na yeah the Actually, since me started posting videos on IT, a lot of people are contacting me say they want to learn networking. But as it stands, all my trainings are online, and I only train in data analysis and also website development and software development, because I know you're much easier to teach online because you don't really need physical presence. But when it comes to networking, because of physical connections, you need say move share physically. Now what me actually how to terminate cables, how to do face place na the ball wall and the network cables, anyhow you even do some of the physical connections and stuff. Internet say I'm into me and started network training because as it stands also I don't have a physical training center. My training is online, as I said earlier. And I didn't hear and so no. And yet classroom there na ye bani abi ready actual na okono there be. Ye pese obi obeba ya so ye so pese osua de bia no. Onfiri onkono practically no timi ye bibi. Yes, intina as a course bebre na aba no. Yen share dan kan ho hwe no because we are looking at the best options ye betimi e de actually practically, especially the physical connections. Inti nkasa bebre yenko computer ne so ne yenhwe how ye be configure your network devices. Inti yenhia our class do it this way. Okay. Inti enne physical devices na be de mo, that's the router, the switch, any cables and you be used to Cisco packet tracer. So why is Cisco for course that you should know this? This is a network simulation tool. You can use it to simulate network like say we are physically. Okay, until I'll go over the interface briefly. This is just the tools that you use up here. And all the logical, the interface where you create your network. And our format, these are the devices that we use. Your network devices, your end devices, your components, your connections, that's the cables, your miscellaneous. Then we have multi-user connections. In there, we are going to look at how you may create a local area network inside our office, our homes, or maybe our churches, schools, school library, or wherever, or hospitals, using Cisco router. And if you're able to use Cisco router, you can configure any router and also any switch. Okay. First of all, I will need a router. I'll click on the network device. Then I choose this 290 version and as a 290 model. These are different models of Cisco routers. Then no matter switch so. I'll click on switch. Then I choose the 2960 switch. Into router no ebe control your local area network. Then the switch will be a device. The network will pass through to other nodes and also other end devices that are connected to the network. Until when you look at, you hover over the router, you see say it has two interfaces, gigabit Ethernet 0/1, then gigabit Ethernet 0/1. So 0/0 and 0/1. Then as it stands, they are all down. That means it's not up. Then they don't have IP addresses. So this router does not distribute any network. We are now going to configure it to be able to do that. Okay, and now you see, say the gigabit Ethernet means it transmits 1,000 MB per second data through that interface. Okay, Inti a switch also has, there is a 24 port switch. Inti we use, it has 24 ports and also I think 2 gigabits. We double click it, so then you come to physical. You see the devices there. Until say that we have the 24 ports. Okay. Into what I will do is say I will need 4 end devices. Into I will just connect, click on end devices, then PC. Then another one, then another one. I think it's 3 right. Okay. All right, but per the church we say we need 4. Until then, let me make it 4. Into these are 4 computers that we want to connect in our network setup. Okay. Then I will need cables to connect them. Into to be on the safer side, when you click on the cable, we have different types of cables. But we need cables that are compatible for router switch and PC kind of connections. We have the console cable which you can connect directly to the router and configure it through a terminal, application. Your copper straight through, we have the copper crossover, we have fiber cables, phone, coaxial, serial DC, serial DTE, octal, and IoT custom cables. But I'll just click on the automatically choose connection. Then I click on the router and on the switch. Until by this, it will automatically connect the cables to, some of the ports for us. Until you see, say, it's connected to the gigabit 0/0, and also on the switch and is connected to a fast Ethernet port 0/1. So out of the 24 ports, now I pick the first port. All right. But because they are still red, that means there is no communication between them. We've not yet created the network. Into quickly, let me do all the cabling first. Into cabling away, PC network card network, and it's like my connected network cable no, but one end actually PC no network port, and I'm connected switch and so one of the ports. Yeah, that is how the connection is being done. Until the way you see the exact ports are connected. Until PC, the first PC is connected to, let me see, port. We have the port fast Ethernet 0. Then I think here it will be connected to 2. This will, 02, fast Ethernet 02. This will be 03. This will be 4. Out of the 24 ports, use 1 to 5. Then these are the various pieces. Quickly, let's start creating our network. Inside the router, I'll double click on it. And as Cisco routers, you need to use command line codes to configure it. Now most people don't really use Cisco because most network engineers don't even know how to configure Cisco routers using the command line, because you need a command line to do most of the configuration or to do almost all the configurations. To double click it, so this will open. Then I choose command line. So it says, what would you like to enter the initial configuration dialog? I'll just do no. I want us to go fast. So after pressing on enter, you get what? The user exec mode, or this is the basic mode. Mostly this mode is used for basic troubleshooting like pinging and all that. But if we want to configure it, then we need to move to other modes. So I'll do enable. Enable will move us to the privilege execution mode, where we can start entering some of the commands. Yeah, they will configure a router. Then I want to configure the interface. So, and I say I want to start the configuration. I will say me call the global configuration mode by using the command configure terminal. And I say you can do config T. That's the short form. So once you do that, it enters, you see the interface says what? Router into brackets config. So that means now we are in the global configuration mode until we can start assigning our IP address to the interfaces. If you can remember, your switch connected to the gigabit Ethernet 0/0 interface. That is where we will give the IP address. All right, I will just call the interface. So interface, then the interface was what? Gigabit Ethernet 0/0. Okay. So now you see it changes to config-if. That means it's in the configuration interface mode. So now we are configuring an interface. Okay. So I want to give the interface an IP address. That's the gigabit 0/0. I want to give it an IP address. So I'll just type IP address. Then IP address I want to give is 192.168.1.1. So the first three is the network. So we are creating a network 192.168.1. Then the router will get a unique number of 1. It can be any number from 1 to 255. Okay. Since this is a private IP address, private IP address are mostly used in a local area network. Then I'll give it a subnet max of 255.255.255.0. So this is a 24 subnet max, which means this network can take and I say bet me for 255 nodes per, or even it's 254. One will be reserved for communicating internally. I've forgotten the technical word. Okay. Now I'm assigning this IP and subnet to the router. When you are done, you just click on enter. Till you see say it will change, it will create that IP for the router. Let's check. One so say the IP address is now 192.168.1.1/24. But the interface is still shut down. It will say yes, you're putting it on. And to put it on, you just type no shutdown. By default, all interfaces on the router is off. Until no shutdown, then enter. Now it will be up. So let's see. It says what? It's up now. Okay. It's up now. Until now done green. Until the switch and the router will communicate to exchange connection. Until very soon this will also turn green. Okay. Until the 0/0 interface now is up now. Until it can start distributing the network. Okay. But in this setup, if we want the router to distribute network IP addresses automatically, then that means we have to configure it as a DHCP server. But we will not do that for today. We will do it in another video. Into we ye be assign IP addresses no manually. Into ye be ma PCBR an IP address. Currently, all these PCs cannot communicate. Let's try to communicate with the router and see. Until you double click on the PC, one of the PCs, come to desktop, then command. Then we use the ping command, ping 192.168.1.1. Ping is used to, check whether there is communication between the connected devices. Until I want to see if there is communication between PC1 and PC4 and a router. But sisi na yenya ma PC no IP address be intimi communicating. Let's see the response that we get. Let's see what we get. So we are doing, ping it. Let's see. Okay, so it says what? Request timed out. That means there is no communication between them. To quickly and set up the PC to have an IP address. Until we will just come here, IP configuration. Then we give it 192.168.1.2 into another second node in our setup. Then we give it a gateway of 192.168.1.1. That's the IP address of the router. In a typical internet LAN setup, if this PC want to go out of the network, internal network, it will pass through this gateway. That's the router's gateway to go out. Until now, you configure router a PC with an IP address of 2. Until a unique number of what? 2. Till let's see if it can communicate with the router. So we will do a ping again. Yeah, there should be. Okay. Yeah, there is a response. Into also the reply from 192.168.1.1. That means there is communication between them. But as it stands, per se, all the computers should be able to communicate with each other. Then we need to also give each computer an IP address, a unique one for that matter. To 192.1. This is 2 into way 3 subnet 255.255. Near mano a gateway of 1, just like the year back on. To quickly in person fast. Into third piece in so I'll do the same. We give it an IP of 192.168.1.4. And as I said, ubetimi my IPs from 1 to 254. But the only thing is ensure you don't give two machines the same IP address, because it's just like if I want to call you, I will need your unique phone number. Until everybody has a unique phone number. Yes. Into the same thing in a network, every connected device should have a unique IP address. Where it can be 50, it can be 100, as long as it falls within the 255. But me and the access so 125. Okay. Till now, the PCs should be able to communicate because all of them has an IP address now. Okay, until let me quickly try to ping the last PC from the first PC. So the last PC is 5. So ping 192.168.1.5. And let's see the response. Okay. Yeah, so there is a reply, meaning there is communication. To see a ping all the pieces there will be reply, because now the network is set up. Until we didn't give the switch an IP address. I know that somebody may ask, because switch is not a managed switch. It's just a normal switch. Until it doesn't need any IP address as it stands, because it's able to, it uses the MAC address of all the connected devices to communicate. It doesn't need an IP address. But since manage switch anchor, we'll be managing it there. Then kayebe yebemano IP address. Okay, let's see if we can do some few setups. On the command line, I want to give the interface that connects to the switch. I want to give it a description. I'll just type maybe description link to switch. Okay, now that's when you look at the description, you see it says, so I can exit the interface because now we've configured it already. Then I would like to let me see. Let's exit to the privilege exec mode. Okay, so I'll exit. Then I want to do show IP interface brief. Yes, so you see that the interface gigabit 0/0 is this. Then yes, method, manual, status, app, but the rest are on set because you new. Okay, so basically this is just a simple network that you can set within your premises. When you video, make sure say you follow, you like it, you subscribe, you share with your friends, and also come back always to learn IT. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.